is good or bad, but if you want,
You know what this is for? Lies.
Our story begins with Mark returning home to his wife Anna and son in West Berlin after a long business trip. Upon arrival, he quickly notices tension with Anna. Despite their reunion, she seems troubled and suggests that their marriage no longer feels the same. The next day, Mark meets with his bosses, who are pleased with his recent secret spy mission in East Berlin. However, Mark has grown tired of the job, feeling it has taken a toll on his family life. He decides to quit. Returning home, he finds the apartment empty and falls asleep, only to be woken by a call from Anna, who says she needs time to decide if their marriage is worth saving. Frustrated, Mark discovers love letters from another man in one of Anna's books, confirming his suspicions. He calls Anna's friend Margie, who admits that Anna has been seeing someone else. Anna later calls, admitting to an affair with a man named Heinrich and asking for a divorce. They meet at a cafe, where Mark coldly informs Anna that he will send money for their son, but no longer wants to see him. Their argument escalates, with Mark losing control and breaking things in the cafe. Unable to cope, Mark drowns himself in alcohol for a week, becoming increasingly withdrawn. Eventually, he pulls himself together and returns home, only to find his son alone in a messy apartment. Mark decides to take care of their son. When Anna returns, Mark tells her he will be the primary caregiver, as she is unwell and unable to properly care for their child. He warns her to end things with Heinrich or leave the house. Despite his anger, Mark still cares for Anna and wants to understand her strange behavior. That night, he takes care of her, but Heinrich calls, claiming Anna belongs to him now. The next day, Mark finds a letter from Anna saying she's staying at Margie's. However, he soon learns from Heinrich's mother that Anna hasn't been to his apartment in weeks. Mark takes his son to school and is surprised to meet Helen, a teacher who looks strikingly like Anna. Later, Mark goes to confront Heinrich but ends up being beaten by him. When Mark arrives home, he sees Anna laughing with their son while he eats breakfast. For a moment, she seems like her usual self, but once their son leaves the room and they start talking, things change. Mark asks her where she had been, and she lies, saying she was with a friend. Mark's frustration grows, and he follows her from room to room, asking what really happened. Eventually, Anna becomes so upset that she slaps him, wanting him to leave her alone. This only makes Mark angrier, and in a fit of rage, he hits Anna several times as she screams, though it's unclear why she is so distressed. She runs out of the apartment, and Mark chases after her. Blood is dripping from her mouth, and Mark angrily threatens to follow her wherever she goes. As they argue, a truck swerves just in time to avoid hitting Anna, who has walked into the middle of the road. Anna doesn't even react, but instead crosses the road with a sudden change in attitude. After that, Margie suddenly appears and starts flirting with Mark. She takes off his sweater and begins unbuttoning his shirt, hinting that they've been intimate before. The next day, Mark hires a detective to follow Anna and keep track of her activities, especially her cheating. Later, he goes home to put his son to bed. Meanwhile, Margie, half-dressed, is waiting for Mark in his bedroom, making their affair official. The following morning, Anna returns to the apartment and starts doing chores. Mark is irritated and tries to ask her again what's bothering her, wondering if she's afraid to tell him something. Suddenly, Anna grabs an electric knife and almost cuts her own throat. Mark quickly takes the knife from her and bandages the wound on her neck. He tells her that she's his family, and he won't let her go. However, not long after, we see Mark using the same electric knife to cut his own arm. Anna suddenly says goodbye without explaining why. and tells Mark she has to leave. Before running off, she looks at her injury and mentions that it doesn't hurt. Mark agrees with her. After she leaves, the detective follows Anna around the city while she shops. He then tails her to a train station, where a strange man takes a banana from her shopping bag, but Anna doesn't react at all. The detective continues to follow her to an old, run-down apartment building downtown. Anna runs fast, thinking the man is chasing her, but he pretends he's heading to his own apartment upstairs, past her unit. The detective quickly informs Mark about Anna's apartment. He then goes to her apartment, pretending to be a property manager doing a check. When Anna doesn't answer the door, he lets himself in. Anna is standing in the entrance, looking scared. The detective walks around the shabby apartment. Anna, acting strangely, offers him a glass of wine, which the detective nervously declines. She then smashes the wine bottle. The detective enters one of the bedrooms and discovers a bizarre creature with tentacles living there. Before he can react, Anna sneaks up behind him and kills him with the broken wine bottle. Meanwhile, Mark is spending playful time with his son when the doorbell rings. It's Helen, the teacher, visiting to talk about their son. But then, the doorbell rings again, and this time it's Anna's lover, Heinrich, looking for her. Mark, knowing where Anna is, teases Heinrich, making him anxious but unable to do anything about it. Later, Mark returns inside and finds the teacher telling his son a bedtime story by his bedside. Afterward, Helen cleans up the kitchen and gives Mark flirty looks, leading him to make a move on her. They end up sleeping together that night. The next morning, the head of the detective agency tells Mark that the detective who was following Anna disappeared the night before. He asks Mark for the address of Anna's apartment, warning that if he can't find the detective, he'll have to inform the police. Mark hesitates, but eventually gives him the address. Soon after, the agency boss goes to Anna's apartment and finds her cleaning the floor. He shows her a picture of the missing detective and asks if she has seen him recently. Anna admits she's scared, but then takes him to a room where he discovers the detective's remains next to the tentacled creature, lying bloodied on the mattress. Shocked by what he saw, he turns to the detective's dead body. He then draws his gun and fires at Anne, only to miss her by chance. In response, Anna attacks him with her mop and snatches his gun. She then kills the agency boss using his own weapon by shooting at him repeatedly. Meanwhile, Mark receives a package containing a videotape recorded by Anna's lover. The tape shows Anna talking about good and evil, but rather in an unsettled and confused way. Later, Anna comes back to the apartment and starts going through the cupboard. Mark asks her to sit down so they can talk properly in a calm manner. Just then, Anna admits that she had a hard time when he wasn't here, and that she had a miscarriage while he was away on his mission. In a flashback, we learn that Anna had a strange episode on the subway train station. She seemed to lose her mind, screaming and crying in the station. Soon she began to scream, and suddenly, blood poured from every part of her body, and she realized she had lost her unborn baby. After Anna finished telling Mark what happened, he surprisingly asked her to give him the watch and the ring that he gave her last time. From there, she leaves the house, and Mark looks like he is relieved finally. He then calls Anna's lover, Heinrich, the address of Anna's apartment so that Anna could be with him. That day, Mark goes to pick up his son from school, and he gives an encouraging look to Helen. Later, Heinrich goes there to woo Anna, who is shaky and jumpy. At first tries to flirt with her and shows her a packet of unusual pills from India that he plans to use on her to open her for unbounded love. However, as she carries her to the bedroom, in return she shows him the room where the tentacled creature stays and the fridge where she keeps the body parts of her victims.
This can't be true.
I've got to keep this place clean.
Heinrich is horrified to believe what he is seeing, and before he knows it, he is stabbed by Anna with a knife. Injured and disoriented, Heinrich runs out of the apartment to save his life. Anna watches him leave silently before she goes back to the bedroom and undresses in front of the tentacled creature. Outside, Heinrich calls Mark to tell him what he encountered, but Mark tells him to wait for him in a bar. Meanwhile, Margie arrives with groceries, but she passes out right away when Mark sees her. Then Mark goes to the apartment, but Anna and the creature are gone and the bed is properly made. However, he sees the dismembered bodies in the fridge and is shocked by it. He starts to shake uncontrollably, even conversing. He then screams and opens a window to breathe. Once he calms down, he grabs the detective's gun from the fridge. He then goes to the bar, where Heinrich is waiting. He wants to do something about Anna's mental health. However, Mark doesn't want to control Anna's craziness or possessiveness. Inside the bar restroom, when he gets the most chance, Mark hits Heinrich in the head with a ceramic toilet seat cover. He then makes it look like the lover died of a drug overdose. Mark then goes back to the apartment and sets it on fire to erase all evidence that could lead the police to Anna.
God's like a bank teller, giving it out cheap and getting it back.
Later, when he gets home, he's horrified to find Margie choking on her own blood because Anna had seriously hurt her. He grabs her and lays her unconscious body in the bathroom tile. Anna is already inside as well in the bedroom, and the two stare at each other in shock. Soon, Anna gives Mark a smooth bath, and soon the couple reaches a new understanding that could progress their marriage. They end up making love on the bathroom floor, but the look in Anna's eye is still unsettled. Afterward, Mark plans for them to run away together. He and Anna have erased all evidence linking them to their crimes. At night, Heinrich's mother Mark tells him that Anna's apartment has been destroyed and that her son's body was found in the bar. Later that night, Mark leaves his son with Helen. When he comes home, he finds Anna in bed, mating with the tentacled monster. Mark is horrified by what he witnesses, so he leaves the apartment and heads to Heinrich's mother's house. She has sadly come to terms with her son's death. Unable to cope with the loss, the elderly woman takes poison and dies right in front of Mark, adding to his trauma. The next day, Mark's former boss tries to convince him to return to his old job, but Mark refuses. He then visits Anna's friend's apartment, only to find the police waiting for him. A shootout ensues, and Mark is wounded by the police. He manages to escape into a nearby building and makes his way up a stairwell. As he reaches the top, Anna appears, followed closely by the creature that has now transformed into a perfect replica of Mark, but with green eyes. Just as Mark is about to shoot the creature, the police arrive and open fire on both him and Anna, hitting them multiple times. Anna crawls to Mark, dying in his arms. Meanwhile, the creature remains unharmed and flees the building as Mark, in despair, jumps to his death from the top of the stairwell. The teacher, who looks just like Anna, continues to care for their son. One day, the creature, still in Mark's form, shows up at her door. The boy knows that every version of his parents is doomed to end in tragedy. To escape this nightmare, the boy drowns himself in the bathtub. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.